off with a bag containing his laptop. Now, apparently in this particular area of this beach where clothing is optional, they're very well known for having wild boars that might kind of come in and try to find food that's been left behind. The pictures that were posted on the social media, however, shows the man naked running down like through the beach and into the woods after a sow and her two piglets had basically found his bag and picked it up with the tusks and ran off. He did basically chase down the pig and get the laptop back, to which when he was coming back, everybody applauded him and congratulated him for his success. There just happened to be a photographer who were taking pictures at the time and had caught him on film and, of course, had showed him. And she said, "Would you mind me posting this as an article?" And he, of course, had a good laugh and a sense of humor and said, "Yeah, sure, not a problem." So, of course, they blurred everything out, and clearly it was a clothing optional beach. But I guess the good for him. I mean, to run buck naked after a bunch of pigs, and those are pretty fast things. To get a bag back was pretty impressive. So,
they're fast and they're ornery.
Yeah.
So he's really lucky, he didn't get attacked.
Yes, or worse. So that's yeah.
Sounds like a normal weekend in the southern states.
It does. Yeah.
And maybe the boar saw the penis on the guy's arm. Thought it was time to get the hell out of there.
That's right, and just happened to hook the bag by accident.
Wow.
If this guy can afford 65,000 pounds, I'm taking his laptop.
Right? What people will do for a MacBook.
Jeez.
Wow.
Oh,
Excellent.
That's funny.
So, Leland, let's turn things over to you. And we have, of course, so many questions.
Well, I got to go now.
Well, thanks for coming for the article. It was at least fun.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. I'm gonna go scratch my arm.
Yeah. Would that be considered masturbation?
Could be.
Yeah.
65 grand, it better be.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I bet gold better come out of that thing when you're done. So, oh my goodness, okay. and maybe not the gold that they were expecting. So. So you have had, by my judgment, I'd say you've had quite an amazing career, and you continue to do so. One of the things that I actually wanted to bring up first, before, of course, a lot of your work in the past, is what you've been doing recently, and how you have been quite popular on YouTube.
It's shocking. Because it started as an accident. We had, first off, like for so many, almost every musician I know, when this pandemic hit, all of a sudden I had the year's worth of work through the end of February of next year completely went away. Mm-hmm. Some things were time sensitive and they're hoping maybe next year they can do them. Other things are on a postponement that's very, kind of etched in mud, because nobody knows what's going to happen. So I, like everybody else, I found myself just at home, just kind of going, what the hell's was going to happen? Well, we had just come off of a 2.5 year Phil Collins world tour. And, I had guys write to me that said, we saw you in like a stadium or something. And they said, it sounded amazing, but, there were a lot of little details that we really couldn't hear because of the venue or, a big arena or something like that. And so what I thought I would do, I contacted Michel Collin, who was our front of house mixer, and he sent me a board mix of a show that we did in Adelaide on the tour. And so what I did was I set up my iPhone and played the track through my computer into a little speaker coming out of the speaker headphone jack, mm-hmm. and then had a bass amp next to me. And what I did was I would tell a little bit of a story and then play that show. Basically, every day I did the songs in order from, the first day I put up one song, and then I played my bass part so it was sitting on top of the track rather than buried in the track, so you could hear all the nuances. Mm-hmm. And about 3 days into it, I had people writing me going, "We love your new channel." And I'm going, "What are you talking about?" and they said, "Oh, the stuff you're putting on YouTube." And then overnight, this thing took on a life of its own. And, now at this point, I've got like, I think 131,000 really dedicated people on the channel. And I went through basically all of that show that we did. The only song I haven't done is Take Me Home, which is the last song in the show. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'll save that until until the end of whenever my YouTube channel happens. And I'm anticipating that'll be, years from now.
Yeah.
But it's just, taken on. So I've posted pretty much a song every day since the pandemic began. I've got about 200 videos up on the channel now, and opened up a store, a clubhouse that has a store in it. And we're selling T-shirts and mugs and tote bags and autographed. I'm doing autographed pictures, and I get a whole list of people that have bought pictures, and then I've got them all at home, and I personalize them and send them off. And it's been everywhere from Australia to Japan to India to you name it, all over the States. So it's, it's crazy. It's the last thing at this point in my life I expected to have happening. And then, I've never recorded at home. I've never had a home setup because I was always busy enough where when I got home, I figured home was home. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I would, do stuff there. And then a friend of mine contacted me about, they were going to do a cover of Easy Lover. And, they said, would you play on it? And I said, I'd love to, but I don't have anything for recording at home. And one of the guys knew somebody at SSL, and they ended up sending me an interface. So I called one of the guys in the band that I'm in now, the Immediate Family. Mm-hmm. And who's like one of the tech guys in the group. He's got his home studio, and he gave me a tutorial with GarageBand and all that, and I ended up putting bass on this track and shooting a video for it.
Oh, wow.
And we've got about 210,000 views on it now on my channel.
Wow.
So I'm doing some home recording, and then I'm doing just finished a book yesterday that's been looming for years of pictures of people giving me the finger. and I have over 11,000 photographs from all the touring and people I've met on airplanes, on the street, and restaurants, and it's just nuts. And yesterday we kind of finalized it, and hopefully by the end of next week we'll be sending it off to a printer and I should have it for Christmas.
That's amazing.
It's like all these things, and I'm in the studio right now with Judith Owen, and we're recording for her new album. We're all masked up and in separate ISO booths and everything, but we've been working on that. And then I'm in this band, the Immediate Family, which is an extension of our original group, The Section, from back in the 70s. It's a different, slightly lineup, but we've got a single out now. We have an EP coming out in October, and the album will be out in the beginning of the year. And Denny Tedesco, who made the Wrecking Crew movie, which is a great documentary film, is doing a documentary film about our group right now. So yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I was feeling that this was going to be, like a desert of, like sitting in the middle of the Gobi Desert with nothing going on. And I'm so busy now. It's driving me crazy.
It's true. I mean, when you said like 20 hours a day, like it totally sounds like it. I mean, you've got so many things that are on the go. And I noticed from the editing of things or just putting things up. I mean, it's not as simple sometimes as click record and send, you like to tweak things and tag things. And so that's a lot of additional work for you. But, I've actually sat and watched several of your videos. And one of the things I love most about what you do is it's not, even though it's you playing the bass and your position in the song, you don't talk about it like it's about you. You are praising the bands and the artists and the way that the pieces are put together. And it truly is about the music for you, versus it being you. And you're a very, kind of a stand back kind of, person. And even when it's you on camera and you playing the music, it's about someone else or everybody else but you.
Well, I mean, I've always felt that way about things. I look at everything as collaboration, and it's like when we're on the road. I hang, I spend as much time as I can hanging out with the crew and the truck drivers and the caterers and everybody, because all these things are really a family. And when we're in the studio doing projects, everybody's a critical part of this. Like the old adage goes, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And everybody's involved. And I've always just felt very blessed and proud to be a part of the unit and the family, rather than, I think I ended up loving bass so much because bass has that thing where, you're an absolutely critical aspect of the music, but you don't have to be the lead guy. You don't have to be out at the front of the stage like the singer or the guitar player, vying for attention. I'm much happier sitting in the back with the drummer and just, keeping it all together.
Yeah.
So, I've really enjoyed this. And one of the things I do is every night then, after I post during the day and then get on with my day, when I'm heading to try to get a couple hours sleep at night, because I'm a real insomniac. So I really usually only sleep about 3 hours a night anyhow.
Oh, wow.
But, I sit and I read all the comments that come in for that day's posting, and it's become quite a community, of people, and everybody's like this, because with the pandemic, this isn't, a localized thing. This is a global issue that's affected everybody, and in pretty much the same way. The responses have been, very different. Like I've been doing an album with Brett McKenzie, who's part of a group called Flight of Conchords out of New Zealand. And when I talk to him, he talks about how I think she's the prime minister, shut down New Zealand and got everything under control immediately. Now, granted, it's a small country and all that, but they really approached it where, like here in the States, it's been utter chaos and bullshit, and nobody, has taken, command of anything. And we're under the worst leadership in the history of our country that's just failing miserably on a daily basis. So, I know people that have died. I know people that are very sick right now.
Yes.
And it didn't have to be. And that's the real tragedy of all of this.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm fuming daily as I watch the numbers climbing, and then the people are drinking. They're like at Jonestown drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
When they start talking about, they're treating it like gun rights or something. Like, I don't have to wear a mask. I'm an American.
Yeah.
And I've spent so many years like going to countries like Japan, and like somebody doesn't feel good, they put a mask on because they, it's not so much for them, it's for everybody around them.
Yep.
And here
I just
it's
had this
become
conversation
individual.
the other day. I equate it to the same principles behind drinking and driving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be responsible and respectful, not just to yourself but to others. Mm-hmm. And if the powers that be and the super smart scientists are saying that it can cut down in any way, shape, or form, I think we should be definitely taking advantage of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you talk about with drinking and driving. Inevitably somebody that goes, you see these reports of somebody that's been drunk and they've hit people. They walk away and they've killed an innocent person.
Uh-huh.
And this disease is the same way.
Yeah.
If the people who were irresponsible got it and died, well, so be it. But the fact is that they can get the disease and then pass it on. And they might, go to a party and come home and they've got a little sister that's got asthma or something,
Yes.
or the grandparents are visiting.
Yep.
And you can't even go to their funeral now. You have to watch it on Zoom. I mean, it's madness.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
This could be, so I'm completely just furious and pissed off with the way everything is. And at the end of every video I've put up, I give a shout out to all the first responders, the doctors and nurses and healthcare givers and teachers and people working in the supermarkets and the postal, people, everything, these people that are putting their lives on the line every day to try to make some semblance of normalcy, even though it'll never be the normal we once knew.
Yeah.
So, it's a real tough call right now, but, when I'm talking to you guys up in Canada, there's a certain envy here because I'm so furious with what we've gone through for the past, almost 4 years now with this psychotic bullshit going on.